One of the armors in the first chapter of Black Myth Wukong might just be the best one by far, and we have a bunch of other items that you can get very early, but they provide some of the biggest bonuses out there. So today we're going to take a look at some of the best items you should take early, get super OP, and also some amazing legendaries and where to find them. Let's start with the first one, which is this awesome legendary drink that has 3 soak slots. So it's the Blue Bridge Romance, which you get quite early actually. It also gives you 40% heal and also increases your movement speed. So this is something that you get from chapter 3 from the north shore of the Bitter Lake. Simply follow the same route as I am, going past the area you met Chanlong in for the first time. And then take this temple area to your right side. You'll progress through this road, keeping it a bit slightly to the left up until you see this bigger house in the distance. Now, the first time you reach here, there's going to be a distressed NPC asking for help, which is part of a different quest line. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but in the meantime, pay attention to your lake to the left side. There's going to be a chest here that you can collect, which gives you a bunch of resources. And if you pay attention to this small table over here behind it, you're going to finally get that legendary drink, which is also very useful and quite handy. Now, if you want something that provides a bit more mana as well as healing, then you can also go for the Jade Essence. This only comes with 2 slots, but it's also the one that I personally mained, especially if you're like me and want to spam abilities. This can work wonders for that. And you also get it relatively close to the Towers of Karma. So from that waypoint, you're going to head over here to the right, going to the same area where you find that Ginseng boss / summon. So what you can do once defeated, or even ignoring it, going right here by this statue, and you're going to again find it on the table in front of you. And while we're at it, or if you just want to make the entire area a lot easier by basically getting chill immunity, you will also want to grab the Fiery Gourd. This comes with 7 charges, so if you haven't upgraded anything at this stage, this can be slightly better than what you have by default. So this is also going to give you chill immunity, and it's also going to increase maximum stamina for a short duration when you consume it. So this is something that you can grab very close to the mindfulness cliff as soon as you reach the area. So what you want to do is to pay attention right next here to this gap, as there's going to be that pillar that leads to a place down. So we're going to simply circle around and go to the other side so that we can jump on the platform below and eventually on the pillar itself, so that we can make it to the secret path on the other side. Now from this point on, you're going to want to just ignore enemies and just progress forward. There's no other path here except the one that leads around by the cliff. So going by the cliff edge, again, ignore everything. And once you reach your very first cave, you're going to spot that there's one of these chests right here. Opening this up is going to give you that right away. Now there's also one accessory that you can get of epic quality very close to the same spot, which is the Maitreya Orb. This is basically a cheat death mechanic, and it helped me a ton, especially in one of the later stage fights. So basically, if you land enough successful hits on an enemy, this avoids the next fatal blow. Basically forms a bubble around your character, just as the enemy would have landed his final hit that would have basically taken you down. But this also helped me in the final boss fight of the game, so it's definitely useful, but you might find some better options in the meantime. Still, you're going to find this in the same mindfulness cliff by just progressing the normal way through the regular path. So just go through this large flight of stairs and progress through the next 2 caves. Ignore the first cave as there's nothing in it, and then go into the second one with the larger enemies. And you will spot as you enter the cave, there's a small container to your left side, which you can open, and you're going to get that Maitreya Orb right away. But like I said, if we go in the same area as we just passed Chanlong right here in this bigger courtyard, yeah, this is going to also be the start of another quest line for the green-capped martialist, which also unlocks this absolutely amazing Spellbinder spell. It's one of the best in my opinion, especially if you only want to resort on your regular melee attacks. So this is going to absolutely disable everything else, including spells, summons, transformations. Even your relics are going to be disabled, but everything else still works. So stances and all of their attacks, including the heavies, even the ones generated by focus points, are absolutely still possible. And it also absolutely increases the damage by a lot, almost doubling on the fact that we also get to double it with another armor. So once you have helped that NPC, go ahead, talk to him, and just exhaust all the dialogue options. This is going to help progress and move him to the next location. That next location is going to be very close to the Towers of Karma. So if you didn't discover that, I'm going to show you how to find it from the Forest of Felicity, since it's the first in the area. So from the waypoint, you're going to go through two of these gates. So we're going to pass the first one and just follow the main road, ignoring all enemies, and then go ahead and pass the second one. And once we go get closer to the third one, instead of going through it, we're going to take this downwards slope to the left side and go to the third one right here. And basically just follow the downwards path up until we reach here, very close to this wall and also to the next site of grace. And from this point on, the only thing we have to do is to just travel a bit left side of it up until we reach this tree, and you're going to notice that our martialist is here requesting for some fire, and you're going to have to use your fire ability, of course, so just cast a ring of fire next to him. From here, he's going to have another chat with you, giving you a hint towards a supposed melon field and how you can find it. So just exhaust all those dialogues until he mentions it. And once you're done with it, go ahead and teleport to the third and final area. And that's going to be once again close to the Forest of Felicity waypoint. So from here, take this downwards slope to your right side and just go down up until you reach these smaller lake areas. Now you're going to want to just progress into the end part of it up until the last lake over here, going past this bridge pretty much all the way at the margin of the cliff right here. And if you look downwards, you will see that there's a path leading to a secret area below. So this is the one that you have to follow, going by these tree branches all the way until you reach the other side and jump down. Activate that shrine right there, and now you're good to go. Because right next to it, there's going to be a big boss arena with the green capped martialist as a boss, and this is a very difficult boss fight. But if you succeed and are done with it, you're going to have a really awesome story cutscene, and this also unlocks that special spell for you. I highly encourage you to go ahead and just invest a lot of points in it. It's going to give you a huge amount of damage, and once you activate this again, you cannot use your spells, but it's totally worth it. But with that out of the way, it's time we talk about the best armor in the game, in my opinion, which actually starts very simple, and that's the Pilgrim's armor set. It's literally the one that you unlock by defeating the very first boss back at the Forest of Wolves, the big wolf boss that you defeat at the temple area. And this starts as a green quality. It looks really mediocre, maybe even boring. But trust me, if you fully upgrade this to mythical quality, it's going to be absolutely bonkers. So let me show you why. First of all, because of the 2 and the 4 set bonus, as well as the bonus on the headband. So the 2 set bonus will increase your sprint speed by a moderate amount, and the 4 set bonus increases, or well, buffs your sprinting so that each second it increases your attack by a moderate amount. This effect can stack up to 10 times and will cease upon stopping. Actually, it ceases 1 or 2 seconds after stopping, but basically, as long as you run with this thing, the 4 set bonus provides a 100% extra damage increase for that 10 seconds that you spend running. So basically, it's 10% for every single stack, stacking up to 10 times, which is absolutely insane. It's pretty much free double damage from very early on. I'm surprised that a lot of people skipped on this. But it goes a few steps above, because like I said, even the headband allows you to use your Gourd while sprinting, which is an absolutely amazing mechanic. However, if you go ahead and upgrade this quality all the way to mythical, you're going to notice a bunch of changes. One of them is that it's going to look absolutely bonkers. It gets a complete overlook and it looks really awesome in my opinion. But once you hit that final stage, it's also going to make every single piece of the set to also provide focus per second as you're sprinting. Now, every single one of the armor components needs to be upgraded to that mythical quality so that that bonus actually gets activated. And once it does, you get both the bonus damage as well as increase your focus, which is absolutely incredible. This means that you're going to always be prepared with a bunch of focus points and a lot of extra damage at the start of every fight. Now, when we get to combine this plus the Spellbinder, the result is pretty insane. Almost 4 times your typical attack by just implementing these two right here. So my attack by default is a bit over 100. If I start sprinting, this is going to give me another plus 100%. So basically doubling that to 216. And you can even see this is applied by that yellow flash effect trail that we leave behind as we sprint. But if I go in and activate that Spellbinder, it's now a whooping 355. So that's going to be absolutely insane. Like if I go in and I also charge my ability, it's pretty much one-shotting these guys that previously I could only take about a quarter of their HP. Furthermore, if I just do normal run light attacks, it's like more than 3/4 of HP against these larger brutes. I mean, the damage on this is absolutely insane. And yes, it is going to technically just take down your spells, and you can't use that unless you deactivate it. But it's still going to be amazing, especially against some of the boss fights where you can't really use many spells. This is going to give you so much damage, it's going to be insane. Unfortunately, I also defeated all the bosses, there's nobody left, so I do have to start a new game plus and test it over there. But it's going to be bonkers no matter what. Now, if you want to get even more damage, you can definitely combine this with some of these staves right here. Now, you can go with the golden long staff, which we already covered in a video today, so totally check it out. But this, for some reason, sometimes stops that attack bonus because you're kind of stopping to do that heavy charged attack. So in this case, you're kind of standing still and losing that damage potential, but it's not the same if you go with a thrust or a smash stance variant. So that is why at this stage or a bit later, you can go with a spike shaft. This is going to help a ton as it's going to continuously gain focus for a brief moment after seeing through the enemy. So really awesome if you're performing a lot of heavy attacks with the smash stance. It works wonders for that. Or just go back to Chew by Spear and that thrust stance. This is going to have one of the best follow-up attacks to sprinting. It also has a ton of light attack combos that are unique to spear thrust attacks. Definitely worth it. Either of these two can work really well. Now, quick PSA, if you want to just move faster in the area, there's actually a cool way to do it, again, from the Forest of Felicity. So if you pay attention to this corpse right next to the first gate, you're going to notice that it's interactable, and the first time you speak to it, it's going to start the Frost Fox questline, which also gives you an item that lets you transform into it, the Snow Fox brush, and this is going to let you traverse this entire map a lot easier. It only works here, and it can only be activated when you're not in combat, and also if you take damage, it's going to deactivate this, but it's going to make movement that much faster. Plus, you can also finish this by going to the temple area. So for that, you're going to need to follow this route exactly as I am. It's pretty much following the main road through all of these larger gates. This time around, going to the third one that we initially talked about. Our destination, of course, is the new Thunderclap Temple, and specifically going at least all the way to the temple entrance. So again, you can just follow this route and reach it there. Now, once you do reach here, pay close attention to the following route. We're basically going to go to the left side of it and find the monk so that we can speak to it in the fox form. So just try to ignore enemies going through some of these houses and then picking this flight of stairs to the left and then going to the right. You're going to see that there's another big sort of castle to your left once again. So go inside and again, pay attention because there are some enemies over here. Once you are at the top of it on the second floor, again, pay attention to the middle, and from this point on, you just need to head down this final set of stairs to this bigger temple where you will encounter the monk. Now, you do have to speak to the monk in your wolf form, which is going to trigger a secret cutscene, as well as progress in that quest. And then you can go ahead and defeat Non-Void, which is going to be the main boss over here. This is also how you collect that spirit of the non-void. This is going to give you a slight increase to stamina when you get hit, plus that ability to phase shift basically out of your body, so a pretty good mechanic to also dodge incoming attacks. So all in all, it's definitely one of my favorite, definitely a lot of utility from it, but let me know down below in the comments if there's a different one that you prefer. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.